The next thing we're going to talk about is microsites and landing page. So once you get people either coming through your organic or your paid search, you don't send them right to your home page. You don't send them right to a page on your site. You actually send them to a microsite or landing page. We're going to break down a couple examples about what the University of Phoenix is doing here. So the best practices for this, one, you want to talk about segmenting your audience. So don't assume that everyone wants the same message. So they're going to click the first thing they see that's relevant. So they might click your university. They might click something about the School of Education. But that might not be the first thing they want. So when you get to a microsite or landing page, first thing you want to do is segment. Like, are you a prospective student? Are you a current student? Are you looking to start this year? Are you looking for undergrad or graduate? And then you want to be able to tailor that experience. So continuing to fork that experience. You want to develop and test content. So both A/V testing, meaning which of these two examples works the best, and then MVT, which is multivariant testing, which is how long should the headline be? Should we put the form at the top? So you're testing multiple elements within that page. It allows you to kind of further refine that. You want to think about creating micro content, so dividing the message up. So don't think about long decks of copy. Think about short little pieces. Users are just expecting video, so I think a video is a great way to kind of get people engaged right away and start interacting with your content. Really, a focus is on differentiating from others in the industry, so don't just copy whatever people are doing. Look to see what they're doing, but don't just copy. And again, as we said, don't send users directly to your website. So this is a pop out of a banner ad. So again, we said one of the tactics of the for-profit institution is to use banner advertising. And this actually pops out right on the screen. So if you click on the banner ad, rather than taking you anywhere, it actually has an interaction for you right there on the page. So this opens up, as you'll see, you've got a video clip right in the middle, check. You've got an option to see different videos that segment the audience. So do you want to hear from the faculty? Do you want to hear from other people? Again, segmentation along the right-hand side. Are you interested in business, technology, criminal justice, education? Again, someone's heard of your brand, they click on it, but you want to segment them as quick as possible. And then you have a link to send them through to another landing page. Again, if we click again, you'll see if we click one of these blue bars on the right, we get some micro content there. That just describes a little bit more, draws people in, and clicks. And then again, this allows them to go to another landing page. So you've segmented them here, you've gotten them a little more relevant information, and you're helping them kind of lead them through the path. Again, breaking these steps up for the actions into very discrete steps is really helpful in measuring your metrics and your what's happened. Now, once you kind of click through either your banner ad or through a search engine, where do we send people? And as we see, the University of Phoenix right now is sending people to a very tight landing page with limited places to go. So they've got sort of dynamic rollovers to kind of give a little bit more of information, and you've got a little more step-by-step process on the right-hand side. Again, I think things that are really essential is it's showing you how long this could be, how many steps are there. It looks like you've already about a third of the way through. They're emphasizing completing as opposed to 3 steps here. And they're starting to gather information about you. I think the other thing that's really interesting is that for these dynamic rollovers, you'll see that they're actually doing a really good job, and I think this is where a lot of brick and mortar schools struggle because of that differentiation between the academics and the admissions and the other groups, is that they have a coherent marketing message that addresses all of the concerns. So it's both, how's this going to fit into my busy life? So I think if someone's going to grad school, they're thinking about, how does this fit into my life? Is this the best career choice? Multi-levels of degrees. They're learning from industry experts, so some brand building, personal attention, and financial aid. So they're answering the key questions of lifestyle, what's it going to get me, who am I going to work with, and how much is it going to cost? And they're doing all of that in a very discrete fashion. You don't get a lot more detail, but again, these are kind of key messages that I think are excellent for emulating, and we see across the board when we get into for-profit institutions, being able to address this full lifestyle. I think this is a place where brick and mortar schools tend to fall down because of the differentiation. Here's another example, I think, of what's going on here. Again, this has got a little bigger form here on the right-hand side. Incremental data capture, I think, is really helpful. So they're starting to get information. So zip code, where are people coming from, how are they targeting? So they're starting to get some other demographic information. You notice that they're asking you that information first before they're asking for your personal information. So they've not asked for your name. Really, I think this is what good testing will get you. This two things. You'll see complete, you have step one, step two, and complete up at the top. This idea of it's not a three-step process, it's a two-step process. And you go to the final step here, that it's not next. There's not the sense of, oh, I'm going to be here forever. But it's really very clear as to what's happening. We have very limited additional navigation. The focus is really on a little bit more content about the school business and what's going on. They do want to drive you to a chat, so if someone wants to talk to you right now, they'll allow you to do that. I think the lesson to learn here is that I think the website, sending people to your website makes the assumption that people, your website is so well designed and people are so good that they will actually find the content that they're looking for. Whereas I think the experience that we're seeing here is that actually feeding people little bits of content along the way and giving them opportunity to interact with a real person here with live chat is actually much more helpful, that you can actually get questions answered much more quickly. This shows just the kind of A/B testing. So this is actually as you click through two ads, you'll see the sort of experience that people are having here. I think what's interesting is you see obviously their color differences, photo differences, the structure of the headlines is a little bit different, where the live chat features play out. But they're also playing a little bit with sort of the length of the bar that shows the progress. There's not a clear next step button here where there is here. So I think there's a few areas that they're just trying to test. I think, again, trying to test these two, you can use technology solutions to split people into two different pools and just randomly put 50 and 50 and see which one performs better. Another option that they have here is a whole video channel. So I think using social media, how do we get out there with social media? I think one way is University of Phoenix is using video on YouTube. So they have a channel, which is essentially kind of a homepage for them on YouTube, and then they're able to publish all their videos there, and they have sort of a landing place there. Again, this is a great place. They get some of their own marketing and branding in there, but another way to kind of really draw people into what's going on. You can subscribe to these, so if there's new videos, they'll show those things as well. So if we talk about some takeaways from the landing page of microsites, one I think is thinking about a multi-channel web experience with data capture at the very top. So again, there's a number of, don't think about it just as your website, but thinking about how you get people coming through all sorts of different channels, whether those be social media channels or blogs or other information, and you're always trying to capture the data at the very top. Over 40% of the real estate on these landing pages is really being dedicated to lead capture. So a good chunk of the real estate here is focused on that, and it's clear, it's well designed, and it doesn't look overwhelming, and there's been a lot of thought around that, but it is taking up a large part of the real estate, which is communicating this is what the point of this is. There's clear next steps and clear progress, and you're pushing to get people to either have ways for your CRM to gather information to do a follow-up phone call, live chat, or send out additional emails. So again, those touches right afterwards, as soon as they get your information,